Adnan, may I request you if you have access to admit participants as they come on, because I will be talking through and while you're presenting, I can do that. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the British Council webinar along with the University of Stirling. This, like you can see on your screen, is an information webinar for the scholarships that we're offering to English teachers in India. We're doing this in association, in collaboration with the University of Stirling. And today we will take you through the entire application process. I am Priya. I work with the British Council, and I am joined by colleagues from the University of Stirling. I have Adnan and Viola here. We also have Kirstine, who will join shortly. And how we'll go about today's webinar is I'll talk you through, I'll introduce all of you, and I'll introduce the team here, which I just did, and I'll hand over to Adnan and Viola, who will talk you through the application process for the MSc program. They'll then hand it back to me, and I'll take you through the scholarship criteria, what the British Council scholarship is all about, and I'll hand it over to Kirstine, who will then talk through the scholarship application process. At the end, we'll obviously have a lot of time, hopefully, for questions from you. And that's where we can take up all your questions. Please keep your questions coming in the chat, and we'll take up as many as we can during the question and answer session. We hope to answer many of your questions as we go along as well. So many of your questions might have been answered by the end of it, but please keep them coming up in the chat. On that note, over to you, Adnan. I'll stop sharing my screen. Adnan, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now? All right.
Yes, and we can see your screen fine now.
Super good.
You just need to use the slideshow. Yeah, perfect.
All right. So everyone, I'm Adnan Yilmaz. I'm from the TESOL program at Stirling, or University of Stirling. So I work as a lecturer here and also the program director. So I'll be presenting some information about Stirling and Stirling University, and then I'll hand over the presentation to my colleague, Dr. Viola Vigand, and she will present more information on the MSc TESOL program and as well as the timeline for the scholarship and application to the MSc program. So let us begin. Let me provide you some information about this Stirling city. So if you look at the screenshot or the map here, you will see that Stirling is located towards the north of the Scotland. So it's close to the cities of Glasgow and Edinburgh. It's actually like a triangulation. So we're on the top edge of the triangulation. And you can access to, or you can come to Stirling by different means, by air, for example. So you can come to Edinburgh or the Glasgow airports. And then from these airports, you can come to Stirling. You can also come to Stirling by car as well, within the UK, of course. And the driving time ranges from the place where you are. Apart from, airline, air and car, you can come here by train as well, and also by ferries. All right, doesn't move. Okay, so who are we? We have about 17,000 students globally in our university, and 11,000 of these students are undergrads and 6,000 of them are postgraduate students. And we have about 1,700 teaching staff at the University of Stirling. So the nationalities represented at the University of Stirling is more than 140. And about 30% or more than 30% of our students are overseas. So Stirling is a very international university in Scotland. How about some rankings of our university? So according to the Complete University Guide 2023, the University of Stirling is in the top 3 in Scotland and top 10 in the UK, especially for education. Similarly, according to Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide 2023, we're in the top 5 in the UK and 3rd in Scotland for education. According to the National Student Survey of 2022, regarding the satisfaction of the TESOL students, we see all of our students are very happy with our university, with our program. How about the Q-Stars university rating? So this is the statistics from the 2021 rating. So the University of Stirling is rated 5 stars overall, and also, again, 5 stars in the following areas: teaching, employability, research, internalization, facilities, and inclusiveness. So we have the 5 stars for all these things. All right, within the scope of this particular scholarship, you have a chance to come to the UK, to Stirling for a 2-week visit. When you're in Stirling, you will have a friendly and warm community of practice here. And this university is very student-centered and very safe. We have a lot of places that you can go, like historical places. Stirling Castle is one of those. And you can do shopping here. There is coffee culture, performing arts, and nightlife. So these are all facilities of Stirling. What is important is that Stirling is the gateway to the Highlands of Scotland, and we're very close to Edinburgh and Glasgow universities, and also the cities. All right, how about the facilities of our university? So we have a very modern library. You can access to ebooks, hard copy books, journals, and the library is open 12 hours per day. And we have private and group study rooms. We also have study zones, and these study zones are open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. So they're always open. And for teaching, we use a virtual learning management system that's called Canvas. So all our materials and interactions are carried out through Canvas. We also provide feedback, all assessment through Canvas as well. So it's a learning management system that we use. How about our TESOL master courses? So we have really an experienced team of lecturers and researchers. We have 2 worldwide known scholars in our programs. We also have very diverse and international student cohorts. So we have students from China, we have students from India, Nigeria, all across Europe as well. So you have the option to continue your TESOL studies at Stirling with a PhD in TESOL research as well, which means once you complete your MSc here, you can move on to your PhD here as well. So as for our courses, we have MSc TESOL online with a call pathway. We also have on-campus courses. These are MSc TESOL plus MSc Management and English Language Teaching. So we offer 3 basic courses at Stirling for TESOL. We also provide student support here, which is our priority. So every student has a personal tutor, and we also provide extensive support through university services. And this includes pastoral and financial support, English language support if you need any, so IT support as well. And then we also have careers and employability advice, even during your study here, and even after you finish your MSc here or PhD here. All right, so I'm going to hand over the presentation to my colleague, Viola Vigand, and she'll provide more information about our MSc TESOL online program and also the application timeline.
Yes, thank you, Adnan. So I coordinate the activities on the online degree. So this is a part-time course. It's delivered completely online, and the scholarship recipients will be studying on this online degree. But as Adnan has said, it does include a campus visit. So you still get to come to Stirling as well. The advantage of this online part-time course, of course, is that you get to continue working. So our students on this course are usually already teaching, often teaching full-time, and do this as continuous professional development. So it's ideal for those who want to study while they continue teaching. It gives a balance between theory and practice with a range of innovative teaching methods, and we focus on the development of advanced professional capabilities and knowledge in language learning and teaching. We have regular guided group work tasks online. We have videos, we have lots of discussions, and you also get to share with the other classmates on your degree who are teaching across the world. So on the next slide, we give you an overview of our program. As this is a part-time program, it goes over 2 years. You will be taking 6 modules. So the first 3 modules are in year 1, and you will just be taking 1 module at a time, because we know that the part-time students on this program are really busy with their full-time work. So you can focus on 1 module at a time, and that takes 2 years. We have here a list of the modules we typically offer. So you can see that these include quite practical modules such as TESOL methodology, where we cover different teaching methods, but also theory such as principles of language learning and teaching. And we also bring in the research skills throughout our modules, really, but we have 1 module dedicated to research methods as well, and that prepares you for the dissertation. We have some more information about this on the next slide. So as part of the master's degree, you will be completing a dissertation or another large project. As I said, our research methods module prepares you for that. And you will also have a dedicated dissertation supervisor who will support you throughout this process. You will choose a specialized topic, and then you will work intensively on the dissertation once you have completed the taught modules. And you can see here a list of some of the previous topics that our students have chosen for their dissertation, but this is really up to you, and we really encourage you to focus a topic that's relevant to you and your teaching context. And you have the advantage of being able to often work with data from students in your school, for example. So we then have some testimonials of some of our previous students who've really enjoyed the flexibility here, supportive tutors, and the sense that this helped them reflect on their previous teaching as well as their own learning experience as a student, and equipped them with knowledge and skills. Another testimonial from a student who's actually based in the UK, who also emphasizes that it has provided him with the confidence to move on with his career. So on the one hand, you can reflect on what you've been doing so far, but taking this course also helps you to then take the next step, perhaps, and think about how you can further evolve your career based on the knowledge and skills you've developed in the course. So coming to the application timeline then, it's really important that you first need to apply to the course itself. So you need to be accepted by the university as an eligible student and have an offer for the master's program. And we ask you to do that by the 2nd of May, so that there's time for you to receive an offer. And then there is a second stage where you need to fill out an application form by the 1st of June. And that is a hard deadline. We won't consider any applications afterwards. You find the information about this application on a website, and we have another slide for that. Thank you. So this is a screenshot from the website. We'll give you the link as well in the chat in a moment. And I believe my colleague Kristen will also give you some more details about the applications later. So I hope that gave you a bit of an overview. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. I will now start sharing my screen and I will talk you through the scholarship itself. Like Viola mentioned, there are two parts to this. You first need to apply to the course itself, need to get selected to it. And then if you are successful there, you apply to the scholarship, and the deadlines were shared by Viola. All this is going to be available on our website. It's also available on the Stirling website. The recording is going to be shared with you, so you don't really need to worry. I hope you can see my screen. I'll talk you through the scholarship process. So I'll give you a little bit of background about the entire scholarship. So the British Council Scholarship is for English teachers working in government sector in India. And we aim to provide opportunities for 5 individuals from India to complete a master's degree in English language teaching with an emphasis on the use of educational technologies from a UK university. In this case, we're working with University of Stirling. This time we're offering 5 scholarships. The type of program, like Viola and Adnan already shared, is the MSc TESOL, which is a fully online program with a 2-week physical visit to the university. So why is the British Council offering these scholarships? Because the British Council provides opportunities for English language teachers to access world-leading continuing professional development opportunities and reach their fullest potential. And what is our aim through these scholarships? We really hope that the successful scholars will have an increased knowledge and understanding in the field of English language teaching, with a particular focus on appropriate technologies to enhance teaching and learning. We really hope that you'll be able to bring your knowledge and experience from your home country and share it with the wider ELT community in your online course while we participate in various activities. We also hope that you will act as ambassadors for UK postgraduate education in English language teaching, sharing positive experiences within your professional community. And most importantly, we really hope that you will support the development and improvement of English language teaching in your respective communities. And why are we including a focus on technology? So the focus on technology is because we all know that it started to play an increasing role in teaching and learning all over India in the last decade or so. And particularly after the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen an increased inclination towards technology. And appropriate technologies, we feel that they have a lot of potential, but you really need an understanding of pedagogy for them to be effective. And that is why this course, MSc TESOL, it has a call element, the computer-assisted language learning pathway to it. Coming to the next slide on who the scholarships are for. So there obviously are certain criteria that you must meet to be able to accept it onto the program. And you need to have an existing undergraduate qualification to start off with. And of course, you need to meet a certain English language requirement, which Kirstine will talk through in some time. Addition to these two, you need to be a passport holder and a permanent resident of India. You need to demonstrate the case for financial support and socioeconomic need through a written statement. We do not want you to furnish any bank details or any bank statements, but it needs to be a write-up supporting that why are you applying to this and what is your socioeconomic background that makes you eligible to get this scholarship. You should not be in receipt of financial support or funding towards any other study program in the UK from any other source. You should not have previously studied at degree level or higher in the UK or lived recently in the UK, that is in the last 3 years. You should be motivated and academically able to follow and benefit from a UK postgraduate. You should be working in or directly with the government education sector in your country, which is India, with a focus on English language teaching. So you should either be an English language teacher or be using English to teach. You should be active in the field with a proven interest in the proposed subject area of English language teaching and educational technologies. I have some more criteria on the next slide. Over and above what I already mentioned, you should be willing to demonstrate future contribution to the field of English language teaching in your country through the benefits achieved after graduating from UK higher education. You should agree to be a part of British Council's global alumni network, maintain contact with the British Council, and act as an ambassador for the UK and engage with activities as part of a scholarship for English language teachers alumnus during and after your studies in the UK. You should demonstrate a plan and passion to engage with the wider community, and you should agree for your personal data being shared with the British Council as a condition of applying for the bursary. So you are certainly not eligible if you hold dual British citizenship. You're not eligible if you're an employee or a former employee or a relative. We've defined what relatives are, who relatives are, of an employee of Her Majesty's government, including British embassies, high commissions, Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, Department for International Trade, the Ministry of Defense, and the Home Office. You're not eligible if you are an employee, a former employee, or relative of an employee of the British Council. And of course, relatives are parents, step-parents, siblings, step-siblings, children, stepchildren, spouse, civil partner, or unmarried partner. The UK universities will manage the application process. So here, University of Stirling will manage the application process and involve the British Council at the stage of shortlisting and selection of scholars. The UK universities will then administer the bursary to each scholar. And what does the scholarship include? We are offering a full scholarship, which will cover the IELTS exam costs, your tuition fees, your stipend for living expenses while in the UK, your flights and connecting travel to the UK, and your visa costs and insurance. All this will be covered by the scholarship if you receive it. That's really it from me. I will now hand over, I'll stop sharing, and I'll hand over to my colleague, Kirstine, who will take you through the scholarship application process. Over to you, Kirstine.
Thank you so much, Priya. Hope everyone can hear me. So I'm Kirsten, and I work for the recruitment team at the university rather than directly within the faculty with Adnan and Viola. So I'm going to talk through some of the requirements, particularly the IELTS or IELTS requirements, and just give you a bit of an overview of the application form and process. So I'm just going to share my screen, hopefully. That should be it. So here you should be able to see the application form, which is linked from the web page that Viola has already shared with you. Generally, the first part is looking at all of your personal details, the things that we need to identify you. So your nationality to make sure you are eligible, and information on your employment status. As this scholarship is specifically for teachers working with government or government-funded schools, this is why we need this. So this is all pretty general. And then you'll get to section 3. So this is where we do focus on that English language requirement. Due to the nature of the TESOL program, as well as certain requirements. You have to have an IELTS test, an IELTS test. We don't accept method of instruction or any other method to prove your English language base. It has to be what we call a SILT test, a secure English language test. So IELTS is definitely the most preferential, the most globally recognised, and generally the most useful for your CV. However, there are a few other tests that we can accept. Hopefully you can see now, switch to this screen. You'll be looking at an IELTS of 6.5 with no subskill below 6. And you'll see the equivalents. So potentially the next most common would be a Pearson test, PTE. And that requirement there would be 62 with 60 in each subskill. And you can see the other tests that we do accept. But we cannot accept method of instruction. We cannot accept your high school English for this specific type of program. The next bit that Priya has also mentioned is looking a bit about your financial and personal background. We want to make sure, along with British Council, that the scholarships are of the most benefit to those who would have no other way of accessing this type of scholarship and opportunity. So that's why we're looking into your background a little bit. Like she said, we don't want bank statements, and we're not looking for very, very long answers for this. It's just to give us a bit about you and your personal circumstances. I do think the part that both the university, Adnan and Viola will be most looking into when we are assessing is the motivation and commitment. So why do you want to undertake this scholarship? You know, we really want to see that you have thought about this particular type of program. What technologies are you interested in and how will that help you develop? What do you want to do once you complete this master's program? So it's really looking at how are you going to take this opportunity and grow your experience and have real impact. I know that that's something Priya mentioned as well. We want to have fantastic candidates who spread all the opportunities that they have received, all the knowledge that they've received from our excellent teaching staff at the university, and how you're going to take your UK experience and enhance the lives of the pupils that you are teaching. So it does say 200 words per answer. That is because we do have to look through all of these applications. So there'll be a little bit of self-editing, making sure you capture your motivation at the same time as not oversharing or giving us hours and hours of work. So that's definitely a skill in itself. So definitely take your time when doing this application. That's the reason that we are having a deadline to have an offer from the university by the 2nd of May. And then you have around a month to prepare this application. We don't want slapdash, really quick applications. We do want you to really think about it as you go through the process. Most of the rest of the application is just making sure that you meet the criteria that Priya has previously mentioned, and that will all be shared with you again when you have this recording. But for any particular questions, you would just email the form and fill it in online. Viola will help answer any questions, and anything she doesn't know, she'll pass to me and my team, and we can help support on that as well. So I think that's a kind of whistle stop of the form and a little bit about the requirements. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And if anyone has questions, I know Priya, Viola, Adnan, and myself, and the rest of the team here will be very happy to help answer that. So thank you very much for attending today, and I hope to see some fantastic applications from you.
Thank you. Thanks, Christine. I saw a couple of questions already in the chat, and the first one I think I'll take up because it was around government or private college eligibility to apply for the scholarship. If you are working in the government sector in India, government or government aided sector, you are eligible to apply. If you aren't, then you aren't eligible to apply. If you are in the primary education sector, secondary education sector, higher education, and in the government sector, you should apply. You are eligible. However, if you're in the private sector, this is not for you. We like, just to include variety and just so that we reach out to as many people, of the 5, we will make sure we have a good representation of the primary education sector, the secondary education sector, and the higher education sector. So even if you are from the higher education sector, please go ahead and apply if you fall under the government or government aided category. There were questions around the IELTS being funded.
I'm happy to explain how that will work. Yeah.
Yes, please.
So to apply for the program, you don't need the IELTS test immediately. So you can fill in all the rest of the details and be given what's called a conditional offer. So it'll say, we will accept you as long as you provide this IELTS or equivalent by a certain date. Now, if you don't have the IELTS already, and the scholarship will fund IELTS for strong candidates who we're putting forward. So if the official chosen candidate that we would like to accept the university doesn't yet have IELTS, but everything else is incredibly strong, then we will fund their IELTS tests. That's part of the scholarship. But we won't be funding IELTS for every single candidate who applies, just for those who are selected who might not already have an IELTS test. So, the one saying, will IELTS be required before application? No. If you don't already have it, you can get a conditional offer and provide the IELTS later or after you've found out if you're a successful candidate or not. But it will be your responsibility to organise your own IELTS test if you are a successful candidate, and the university will refund you for that. I hope that was clear, but if not, just let me know and I can do that as well.
There is a question around documents. What documents do I need while applying for the course to the university?
So to apply for the course at the university, we will require all your kind of educational background. So your university transcript and your degree certificate. We need a personal statement on why you want to study the course and why you want to study it at Stirling. And we do look for a reference letter, so from your employer or your previous education, to state that you're ready to undertake master's level study. And then we will need evidence of English language. You can apply before you have all of this documentation. You would get a conditional offer.
Thank you. There's one question around, if the candidate doesn't presently hold a passport, will they be given time to apply for it? I think we're talking about an online course here. So this MSc TESOL program is completely online, except for a 2-week physical visit to the University of Stirling, which will happen in 2024. Not before that. So you will have plenty of time to apply for your passport and get it, yes. So you don't need a passport right away because this is an online program. I'm working in a school as a middle school teacher, which is recognized by ICSE. Am I eligible for scholarship? If you are working with the government sector, government or government aided schools, in that case, you are eligible, else you aren't. The scholarship is for government and government aided schools, teachers and English teachers in government and government aided schools. The application link is active now to apply. Is that right, Kirsten and team?
Yeah.
Viola?
I think there was a question about a hard copy. So you download the Word file and you email that to me, but you don't need to send it in a letter to Scotland. So yeah, it's a file that you fill out and send via email, and you will receive a confirmation from me. And if you don't, then you can share it.
May I request all of you to please put your microphones on mute so that we can hear the question and the response clearly, please. If you are a government school teacher teaching English alongside other subjects, even that's fine, as long as you're an English language teacher with all the required qualifications that make you eligible for the course and the scholarship, you can apply.
Yeah, I would like to add one point to the application documents. Keep in mind, there are two different applications. One is for the MSc TESOL program. That's an online application. And the other one is the application for the scholarship. So the application for the MSc, as I said, is online. You complete it online. Once you receive a conditional or unconditional acceptance from the university, then you can move on to the application for the scholarship, which is, as Viola has mentioned, it's a document, Word document that you complete and share it with Viola.
Thanks, Adnan, for that clarification. There was a question around, sorry, I just missed that. Age limit. There is no age limit. You just need to have the right qualification. There is no age limit, and I'm sure Kirsten and team will agree and second that. We don't have an age limit. Yes, there's a question around initiating the IELTS yourselves. Like Kirsten already mentioned, you don't need to have an IELTS to apply. You will be given a conditional offer if you're successful, and then you need to clear your IELTS to be taken on board. Is that right, Kirsten and team?
Yes, that's right. So you would get a conditional offer until we have your IELTS, but not having an IELTS isn't prohibitive in being chosen as the scholar or one of the scholars we would take on board. We're looking at your background, and the IELTS is something we can add later for strong candidates. I accidentally sent a link to Priya, but I'll send it to the whole group. It's just the application to the direct course link, not the scholarship link, but the course. So it has an outline of all the things that Viola and Adnan have spoken about, and a big apply now button at the top of the screen. So I'll share that link right now.
Like we said, there is no age limit. You could be 25, you could be 45, you could be 55, no age limit. Somebody asked about sharing transcripts from your university. I'm not quite sure what that means.
I think it might be a little bit about the general portal. So once you click the Apply Now button for the course, you put in some of your personal details, and then it will have a link to share your documentation. So that would be just upload that, and then you'll have your student portal where we hold all your documentation. I can see similarly someone has asked what your transcript is. That is something that you would upload as part of the application. it is your the history of your degree, basically. It will have all of your grades from any modules, any exams you've taken, and will show your overall GPA. So yeah, I don't know if there's another more common word to use for transcript in India. But yeah, so that basically that's all of your module outlines, all the scores you've gotten throughout university.
The record of the modules or the
So
courses
all
that you have
your,
taken.
basically all the records of all your modules. Yeah, that's right. There was a question around permissions. Because this is an online course, I really don't see you requiring any permission from your institutions to do the course, because you will be doing this online and you will be doing this alongside your regular job. So you don't need permission during the online course itself. You will require permission for the 2-week physical visit. So you will need to, we'll give you the letter from the university that you will be visiting the university. But that's about it. We will support you with the visa application in terms of giving you the letter, in terms of funding your flights. The scholarship will take care of all of that. But the permissions from your university, it's your prerogative to get those from your institutions. You need to get those permissions to be absent from work for those 2 weeks in 2024. That's a good question. And I think Adnan and team, you can take this up. How much time commitment is needed in this online course?
So it's 2.5 years because it's a part-time course. So as Viola mentioned, you take one module at a time. Once you finish one module, and then you can move on to the other module. So we spare 2 years for the taught modules, and then half of the year for the dissertation. So in total, it's 2.5 years.
Yes, and in terms of the weekly commitments, so our modules are 8 weeks long of content, and it will vary how long it takes you to work through the content. We recommend, I would say, setting aside a day, but you could, of course, split that across several days in your week. We usually provide videos of around 1 hour, or they might be lots of short videos, for example, and then there's reading, and there will be activities, and usually there will be a way of sharing those. So, and in some weeks, because it is flexible, you can work on it in your own time. You might take more time one week and less in another when you're very busy at work. But after the completion of each module, you have to finish an assignment, which will involve more work. So you will need to manage your time accordingly. But we do find that once people kind of get used to this way of working, and yeah, the UK higher education culture, so to say, and writing, then you will find your way around it and get used to it.
Just building on what Viola said, it's good that you are going to take one module at a time, not 2 or 3 modules running parallel. So this is the good side of the program.
There's a question about, yes, you can apply if you're a lecturer in English at Government Junior College. I think you missed the response. We did say that we will try and keep the selection as diverse as possible to get in good representation from all sectors, primary, secondary, higher education, etc. So as long as you are from the government or government aided sector, please do apply. We have the Teaching English email ID, the same email ID from where you received the Zoom link for the session. you can write to the Teaching English email ID. I'll put that up here in a minute.
I've just seen a question about information from previous teachers. So currently we have a relatively new cohort who did this or started this program relatively recently. We can't just provide you their information directly due to UK data protection laws. However, if you want to email the university, you can potentially email Viola or myself, and I'll share my my email address, and we can ask them to get directly in touch with you if you want to ask about their experiences. They've not long started the course, maybe a few months in, and they haven't had their visit to campus for 2 weeks yet. But they might actually be happy to get in touch with you and tell you a little bit about the course.
I'm just pasting the email address to the Teach English in India British Council email inbox.
Thank you, Priya. Is there also a global alumni network of the British Council that the applicants, or rather the successful candidates, will be joining?
Yes, there is an alumni network, the global alumni network. We're planning on an India alumni network, and we're planning lots of interesting things with the alumni. Thanks, Adnan. Adnan's just shared the link to the course, to the application and the course in a lot more detail there.
They will be able to find the application for the MSc TESOL online on the webpage as well.
We don't have any plans as of now, but we'll take that feedback on board. So Victor, you need to post your message to the entire group. I know there's some feature that is disabled. You need to enable the feature to message the entire group. Victor is saying he tried last year, but didn't have any knowledge about IELTS. So I think that's clarified now. Kirsten has mentioned that you don't need to have the IELTS as a prerequisite to apply. You can apply and then you get your conditional offer and then do your IELTS. Then clear your IELTS to be accepted onto the course. And
I would, however, just recommend that even when you do start applying, if you don't have the test, maybe start preparation for the test.
Yes.
It can be quite complicated. I remember when I started working in this sector, my old director made our whole team do an IELTS test, even though English is our first language, to make sure that we understood what we were actually asking students to undertake. So there's a learning curve of even how to take this test. So I would definitely recommend not just leaving preparation to the last minute. Do a bit of research, take some practice online tests, even start that kind of process now. It could be very useful for you, even if you don't actually take the test for a while, if you're not a successful candidate or something, but definitely prepare for an IELTS test.
And on the acceptance of applications, so the scholarship has 5 vacancies for this next cohort. Of course, if you wanted to do the course anyway and fund yourself, we don't have we have lots of capacity still, so you're very welcome to join anyway, but the scholarship is obviously limited to 5 places from the British Council. So it is a little bit competitive, but we are very happy that we're offering 2 more seats this year than last year. So there will be 5 of you who will be able to be funded. Yes.
That's right. So just to reiterate that, if you anyway want to go ahead with the online course without the scholarship, there is no limit to that. You can go ahead and apply. And if you're through, you can still take it up without the scholarship. But like we said at the beginning, once you are taken on to the course is when you are eligible to apply for the scholarship. Only if you are taken on to the course. And once you clear the scholarship is when you get funding for your course. So there are 2 elements to this application. For the scholarships, like Viola mentioned, it's 5. This time, 5. We took on 3 people last time. This time it's 5. Sorry, thanks, Kirsten, for responding to the reference letter format. So if there are no more questions, we're well in time to end the session. The recording will be made available on our YouTube playlist. We'll also share the YouTube link with you on email with all the registered participants. And it will be made available on the British Council website. You can check there on Friday, and we'll make sure it's up there. All the details about the cost of the course will be available on the link that Viola and Adnan and Kirsten shared, the Stirling University link. You just need to click on the link and everything is available there. I hope you found this session useful, and we really look forward to a lot of very good applications from you, and we look forward to taking you on board the course. Thank you, and all the best with your applications. Thank you, Adnan, Kirsten, and Viola.
Thank you, everyone.
For all your support.
Well, thank you for attending today, and our email addresses are on the website. We've shared them as well. So if you need anything, please do get in touch.
Yeah.